Jack Jones of the
Yeah.
Impossible Dream. And we know that song, don't we? In fact, I'm
Yeah.
surprised you haven't sung it on some of your karaoke things.
I did one time, in fact.
Yeah.
And it was this version that I did. His release version of The Impossible Dream from Man of La Mancha it's just a little different. He changes the lyrics a little bit,
All right.
which makes it more of a standalone song and less specifically tied to Don Quixote. But it's a beautiful, beautiful song. And of course, the younger among you might know him for singing The Love Boat. Soon we'll be making another run. Yeah, that was Jack Jones.
I wonder what the buffet was like on the Love Boat. But
I'm sure it was all you can eat, and it was probably pretty darn good food.
yes.
At least that's what my grandmother said. She actually took a ride on the Pacific Princess.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
Jack Jones, the silky grammar-winning crooner who had hits with Lollipops and Roses, Wives and Lovers, and The Impossible Dream before inviting TV viewers to set a course for adventure on the Love Boat, has died. He was 86.
Yeah.
Jones died Wednesday night at Eisenhower Medical in Rancho Mirage, California, after a 2-year battle with leukemia. His stepdaughter, Nicole Whitney, told The Hollywood Reporter. Jones was born into a showbiz family. His mother, Irene Hervey, was an Emmy-nominated actress who spent more than 50 years in film and on television. His father, tenor Alan Jones, portrayed the romantic male lead in Showboat from 1936 and in Marx Brothers, A Night at the Opera and A Day at the Races. And he managed a hit song of his own with The Donkey Serenade. For 8 seasons and more than 200 episodes of ABC's The Love Boat, starting in 1977, Jones extolled the virtues of romance on the high seas. Love, exciting and new, come aboard, we're expecting you, was this theme song for the Aaron Spelling produced series. Dionne Warwick took over in season 9. Featuring words and music by Charles Fox and Paul Williams, the tune added a new layer to Jones' decades-long career. Because of the Love Boat theme, everything was great on ships. After that, Jones told Las Vegas Magazine in 2016, I did 6 weeks a year. They gave me the best suite on the ship, and it was the SS Norway. We just had a great time. I'm sure he made bank just being booked on those cruise ships, right? Think about it.
I would imagine, yeah.
Jones released the Love Boat theme as a single in 1979, and a cover of Barry Manilow's Ready to Take a Chance Again on the B-side, and the song became a concert staple. And that didn't mean he wasn't above poking fun at it. In Airplane 2, the sequel, in 1982, he can be seen performing the theme song in a cameo as a tuxedo-clad lounge singer. And when Sandra Bullock gets ready for virtual sex with Sylvester Stallone in Demolition Man in 1993, she sets the mood by playing his song. I love that scene in Demolition Man.
I do too, yeah.
Because Stallone's not liking that at all.
No. Well, it even though it's funny, I think something that makes it even a little bit more funny, gives it a little bit of another dimension, is if you think about it from the point of view of a man out of time, right?
Yeah.
The things that, the way another generation might interpret a cultural touchstone might be very different than the way you would have in your own time, you know?
Like you're not getting it, basically,
Yeah,
right? Yes.
exactly.
And this happens, I hate to say this, sometimes with the kids liking the stuff from the 80s and 90s, and it's like, now I know what the older folks were saying about the 60s stuff, you know? It's like you're
kinda
getting it, but it's okay. I'm not going to try to ruin your fun, all right? That's how I feel.
Right.
Known for his breezy ladies man persona on stage, Jones was married 6 times, most notably to actress Jill St. John for slightly more than a year in the late 60s. Lucky man. I know you're not a fan, though, right? But he was also romantically linked to actress Susan George in 1959. Jones landed his first recording contract with Capitol Records, which released his debut album, The Love of Mine. And that was his sprightly rendition of the Steve Allen composition, This Could Be the Start of Something Big. Capitol, which was trying to turn Jones into a rockabilly singer, dropped him. But Capitol Records picked him up, and he struck gold right out of the gate with Lollipops and Roses, recorded while he was on 2 weeks leave from the Air Force Reserve. Romantic ballad by Tony Vallona, it proved to be ideal for Jones' velvety tones. The single reached number 12 on Billboard's Adult Contemporary chart, earned him a Grammy in 1962 for Best Male Solo Vocal Performance, and made him an heir apparent to Frank Sinatra. After he found success a year later with Call Me Irresponsible, which Sinatra had recorded, Jones collected another Grammy in 1964 for Wives and Lovers. The bouncy Burt Bacharach, Hi David composition rose to number 14 on Billboard's Hot 100, was nominated for Record of the Year, but lost to Henry Mancini's Days of Wine and Roses. It goes on to say, a Las Vegas headliner for seven decades. He released more than 50 albums during his career, continued to perform into his 80s. I want a song to make the audience laugh or make it cry, make a very poignant statement, Jones said. He likes John Sebastian's I Had a Dream. The lyric starts, I had a dream. I dreamt we were all right. That's such a wonderful thought. So rest in peace. I mean, I'm sure you know him from The Love Boat and other things, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, I knew him from the Love Boat. In fact, there's one reference to that Love Boat tune that they didn't do in the. I want to say, what was it, the 80s? Yeah, that had to be when Growing Pains was on. There's this great bit where Alan Thicke, who is also a singer, makes a phone call, and he gets he's on hold or something, and it's the Love Boat theme. And I just thought that was kind of funny, making that television connection.
Yeah. But rest in peace. I can't think of Airplane 2 when I hear the Love Boat theme, Chris P says.
Yeah.
But were you a big fan of the Love Boat? Did you watch it all the seasons?
I
didn't realize it went on to the 80s.
Yeah, that last season with Dionne Warwick, I was not watching. No.
Okay.
But I watched a lot of the earlier ones. I really did enjoy it. It's gotten a bad reputation, I think, because I think people tend to misremember something about it. They oftentimes say, "Oh, well, that was the show where all the has-been actors were the guest stars," and in some cases that was true. But in other cases, it was the young unknowns that went on to become big stars. And you might be surprised by how many of some of your favorite actors of today started out with a guest appearance on The Love Boat. We were just last Friday talking about the phenomenon of the variety show and how oftentimes guest appearances or even a hosting of a variety show was given to somebody to fulfill a contract with the network. Well, sometimes that's what these, in quotes, has-been actors were. They had a show that got canceled, or they were supposed to be
right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he showed up so many times. When you're under contract with a studio and they have nothing else to do with you, they'll put you in a variety show. Well, the variety shows kind of died by the early 80s. So things like The Love Boat, Fantasy Island, there was a number of shows like that where they were kind of anthology stories. You had the framing element of The Love Boat being, your regular cast, of employees of the cruise line, but then you had like 3 or 4 individual stories about guests that are on that particular cruise. Sometimes they crossed over and whatnot, and you might be interested in this romantic story, but not so much in that one. And it was fine, everyone found something that they'd be interested in. Well, that's and that was a great. Florence Henderson was one who showed up a lot, who was also in the show on Friday. So yeah, a lot of these, you might call them has-beens. I call them continuing to work.
There you go.